The following program is presented for entertainment purposes only. The views expressed are the views of the hosts and the host alone. The information or statements here are not known fact.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hardcore Truth. Today, we're going to talk about it's not skywriting, it's not crop dusting, it's chemtrails. I'm here as always with your host, Gina, whose mom has not accepted my Facebook request. Thanks, Mom. Anyway, I'm here with Gina. We're going to talk about chemtrails this week.
Yeah.
Wow, what a lead-in, folks! We're going to talk about chemtrails this week.
Do you think they're real? Do you think it's just
I think like
the
now
contrails, or do you think they're chemtrails? What do you really think they are?
I think they don't fucking work. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'd rather save it to the end, but you asked me, so you put me on the spot. Like, okay, everybody says, but I don't know what they are. Like, it's smoke that comes out. For those of you who don't know, it's smoke that comes out of the back of planes. Not like a crop duster smoke, but like we're talking like a Boeing or I don't know about planes. I'm not Glenn Quagmire, but you know, the planes that fly you to destinations. So what they say is that the smoke that comes off the planes, which you can see in my background, it's a chemtrail. And everybody has a different kind of theory. Is it weather modification? Is it population control? Does it make you sterile? Does it kill you? Now, I'm going to say population control, probably not, because we're fucking and we're having babies that don't work. Is it poison? You know, probably not, because we're all still here. It doesn't work. Weather modification, that part I do believe. I know there's a lot of stuff going on about it, so let's find out.
Yeah,
Tell me what you got about chemtrails. And also, tell your mom I said hi. I'd like to know why she said ew in our last comment. And Mama Gina, this is a shots for you right there. Yeah.
No.
Did I mention that I think your mom is really cute?
Yeah, she is pretty hot for a 73-year-old lady.
Wait, she's 73 years old?
73.
That goes past cougar and kind of goes into saber-tooth tiger. But I'm an old man too. And as you can see, fans, look at this. Now, I know you always
thought, got it all trimmed up.
See, you always thought Gina was the hot one, which she is. But look, I got a lot of silver in the fox. I got the tan. Not looking too shabby, fans. But other than that, tell me about chemtrails.
Well, you hear of this stuff, over the years. Oh, if you see these planes in the sky and you see these pictures and you see stuff online and, for years, I listened to people talk about it. And you'd see the different videos people would put out, you'd see photographs, but I never really truly experienced it myself until a couple of years ago. I started noticing, that some of these planes were coming from the same area and doing specific patterns where they would, make a vertical pattern and then go back and do a horizontal pattern. Or sometimes they would just do a couple horizontal, but the rest were vertical. And I'm like, well, this is really strange. And I started seeing this a couple of years ago when I drove out to Fairbury, Nebraska. Okay, a couple hours away from here, from Omaha. And a friend of mine that was with me, we were talking about this, and over the 2 hours that we were driving out there, you could see these straight lines in the sky, and then they kind of dissipated, but they the way that they separated ended up just being like a cloudy day after that. Like, and it was covering the sun, and it just made it look really cloudy, just like a haze. So that was kind of my first little experience with it, but I didn't take any pictures. We were driving. It was just kind of an odd thing. So I started watching the skies, and just this last March, which I sent Corey a couple pictures over, I want to say it was about 30 minutes time. I was in the Menards parking lot in Bellevue, and
isn't that, let me interject for a minute.
Yeah.
Isn't that a nasty fucking place? Like once in a while, I got to go to the Menards to pick up stuff. And I swear, and no offense to any of the listeners, I'm with my son. My son's like his mom. He's a snob. And we're in an SUV, pickup truck, pickup truck, pickup truck, pickup truck. It's like, where do I park? Where's the SUV parking? It's all fucking pickup trucks. I gotta go in line with these plebeians and all that. No offense to Menard shoppers. It is the ghetto Home Depot and the even ghettoer Lowe's, but they sell blow molds for Halloween, but that's a Menards plug. They also have Shasta, Tiki Punch.
I love Menards.
Do
I love
you?
Menards. I do.
You
And
know
yes,
the
they
one in
got
Bellevue,
trucks.
right?
They got trucks everywhere because there's people who work. They have to go there to get their
But
supplies, and then they
I'm
take them.
sorry, you see these videos online, and you know how they have like for some odd reason, Menards is like they don't give a fuck about the people, but they love their shopping carts. So if you don't have Menards in your area, they have these like storm shelter things. There's a name for them, and they're built over the cart section. So if it rains,
Yeah.
the cart
They have like
and these
carports for the carts.
carport. Thank you. And these
Yeah.
errands push the carts out and they park in the carport. So tell me what kind of store this is. Even though they sell Shasta Tiki Punch, which I like because
I
it's
love it. Love
carbonated
their
Hawaiian
candy
punch.
aisle, everything. They've
A
got
carb.
everything. They sell everything from milk, Cheetos, gutters, siding, and then you can go
Well, I'm gonna tell
replumb your entire house.
you. Tell you.
Anyway,
There's a root beer. Well, hold on. The product placement. There's a root beer called Sprecher. It's a German root beer that actually uses vanilla and honey. Once in a great while, Costco gets it. It is the official root beer of the Walmart. So
mm,
for $11.99, you get a whole case of this. Whereas opposed to if you go to a Hy-Vee, it's like $12 a six pack. So Sprecter, it's got like a crow, like you would see in like the old X-rated cartoon, Felix the Cat, and it's got the crow, and he's got the Sprecter root beer, and he's going, buy it at your Menards. Menards, we just talked about you. Sponsorship money.
I love Menards, my favorite store. In fact, every weekend, my youngest daughter would go, "Are we going to Menards this weekend?" Because we always had a project and we'd be there like 4 or 5 times in a
That
weekend.
poor kid.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, it was like
Menards.
she loved it. She loved
But
it.
you not Lowe's? I mean, I just got a Snoopy blow up mold where Snoopy is. What the fuck is this turned into? We're talking about Lowe's and
I
Menards.
know. Okay,
Get
let
off
me get
topic.
back to
They're
it.
not
I'm
paying
in
us,
the
man.
Menards parking lot. My husband is going in to get a couple plumbing things because we're going to go help a friend out that lives in Missouri Valley. Okay. So I get
Wait,
out of the car.
wait. Do you mind if I ask you a question? Is
Yeah.
Menards the jingle where it goes, where there's a helpful smile
No,
in every aisle? Or is that how
no, it's not. It's save big
what's the
money at
Menards jingle?
Menards. Save
Say
big.
big money. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm
I
standing
can tell.
there in the parking lot and I notice now the base is not very far away, but it's to the south. Okay. And I notice all these lines, coming. And then I see new planes where you can see, the exhaust behind them. I've seen jets and stuff with the contrails behind them. Okay. Not chemtrails, contrails. I've seen the exhaust behind them before. But these were making like very precise lined patterns and it was coming from somewhere over in Iowa. And I'm like, well, this is great because we're going to be driving towards Missouri Valley and I'll continue to keep an eye on this. So in the parking lot of Menards, I snap a couple pictures. And as we're driving down the interstate to go towards Missouri Valley, you can see, others that are making a horizontal pattern and then they start to kind of dissipate. But the way that they're doing it's everything is being stretched. Like it looks like they're completely stretched out. And I want you to add those pictures I sent to you in the video here so that people can see that stretching. So they started off as these really skinny trails and then it just stretched out and then it was just cloudy, like lots of clouds in just it just was, if you didn't get up early in the morning, and I was up before the sun came up. So in one of the pictures, you'll see the sun is not quite up yet. And then the sun is like peaking and then the sun is out. So if you're not up that early in the morning or you're too busy driving to work or not paying attention, you probably wouldn't see this. So, and I saw some the other day. that I was up really early in the morning, but I was driving and didn't have time to pull over and take
And,
pictures.
and people that think this is kind of weird, I'm just going to interrupt you for a second. I'm sorry, but they say, oh, a weather modification. And this is what I would think as a child of the 80s who loves toys. Well, Cobra Commander had the weather device and G.I. Joe stopped him. Okay, yeah, they did. Yo, Joe. But even in Vietnam, by like the government's own admittance, we were spraying those clouds with iodine to create rain. So there was already a form of weather modification. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, fans.
Mhm.
My years are terrible. Whenever Vietnam happened, 60s, 70s, fuck, I don't know.
69,
60, I
79.
think they were already doing it. You can even see the footage of the guys with the things going
Mm-hmm.
like that. They're spraying the clouds with a form of iodine and some other shit to make it rain, rain in the jungles and everything. That's why it's always like raining in footage you see, not just movies. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like this stuff came around last week. It's been around for
No,
a while.
no, it's been around for a really long time. In fact, when I was kind of pulling up some research about this, I had found this 158-page document about weather and climate modification, and it was from the National, um, what is
Please
it?
don't tell me the National
Science
Enquirer.
Foundation, National Science Foundation. And in what I'm reading this, and like I get to like page 10, and I'm like, okay, I'm a little bored here. But I get to page 10, and it starts saying in 1916, San Diego like employed a rainmaker, meaning that they put in to the works a rainmaker system to make it rain, and it resulted in like loss of life, millions of dollars of property damage due to the flooding and whatnot that happened. Um, and then I guess it spent like a half a century or something, like they said something about in litigation with the state and local legislature. So in 1916. So this stuff, I mean, when people go, oh, they're not modifying they are. And if you pull it up, you can see that they have done seed clouding, they've done this, and they started well over 100 years ago. So can you imagine what they can put in place now if they could make it rain and have catastrophic flooding in 1916 because they maybe just didn't know how much to put in, you know, what could they do now?
Well, and
What's
before anybody
what's
thinks
happening
like,
right now with this Hurricane Elaine, right?
and I'll bring it even simpler. We are in the Midwest now. When you and I we're close to the same age. When you and I were kids, tell me if I'm lying. It snowed every week. Like it was like what you see on the Hallmark Channel. It was
Mm.
like there was a foot of snow every week. And I remember I used to get scared because I was raised by my grandparents and they were fucking nuts. And back then you didn't have the simple like beep, beep, beep. Bill Ramby's coming on he's gonna roll up the
Yeah.
sleeves and everything. But you didn't have just the simple beep beep. We got some storms coming. You had like you're gonna die, tornado, like that. You really had to the point where like I was terrified. But that was like 3, 4 times a week. And as time progressed, summertime comes. Now this year was a little weird. And we had
Hmm.
we're in Nebraska. We had hurricane winds. We had, hail's nothing new for us. Tornadoes nothing new. We had hurricane winds. We had a storm with hurricanes. I got a new roof the other day because of it. We have had psycho weather. We went from having snow every week to we were lucky if we got snow once every 3 months. And if we did, it was a
Yeah.
dusting. So you're not going to convince me that, and I do believe in global warming, don't get me wrong, but something is causing global warming. It's just not like if I take, remember this from Satanic Panic. If I take this pot and I put it on the stove and I put the heat on, it's going to get hotter. If I just put it here, I don't care if I come back to it 50 years from now, it's just gonna fucking sit on my counter full of dust.
Mm.
Something is making it go hot, hotter, hottest, like in Action Jackson. So something's causing this. I mean, you don't go from, like I said, like we did, it's snowing every day. Now it's not snowing at all. I shoveled once last year, and truth be told, I just paid some guy $20. But one time, where it used to be every other day. And then all at once, the way it changes, like we had rain, we were having tornado. We had tornadoes. Every week we had a tornado here. Every week we're having something. And then all at once, boom, driest September in the history of the fucking state, the driest September. Maybe the chemtrails don't work, but I'm just saying something causes this. I mean, you can blame global warming to a point, but it's too fucking weird for me to think that this is not caused by something. And I do think of things like HARP. I do.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And I honestly think that HARP, the chemtrails, the weather modification, I feel like it's all intertwined. Do I think that chemtrails, that they're, using it to depopulate or make people crazy or whatever? I don't know. I mean, that to me, I mean, I'm sure that the aluminum and the silver iodine and this lead dioxide that they're putting is probably not good. And there was this scientist that I forget his name right now, but he's had several videos out where he's gone before these boards where he has measured the elements like on top of different mountains. And he's like, back in the 70s, we had like 0% like aluminum and all these other different components that were, on the surface of these mountains and whatnot. And he said, and now, like as of today, there's such a high percentage of it. And he's like, there's just no way, unless you're dumping this stuff in high amounts, there's just no way we can get these levels and they're toxic. So yes, I feel that the HARP, and I feel that the chemtrails, and I feel that the weather modification, the rainmaking and all that stuff that they started doing way back, 100 years ago, which seems kind of crazy that they could do that. But they even had some specials on. I want to say it was like in the 70s or 80s where they're like showing like the cloud, and they had like a video out of it. And I think you can still see it on YouTube where they're like, see, look, we're going to make it rain today on the show. And they did. I mean, they were doing this.
I made it rain at a strip club the other day. I was like,
yeah, sure.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I'm making jokes, but let me just say one thing. I hate to interrupt you. Let me say one thing.
Okay.
When you run a car, like a real car, not one of these electric things, you get carbon monoxide. And when you have a chimney like I do, you get smoke. And everybody says, oh, well, it's fucking up the population. If you look at the picture behind me, it's not like a stupid picture. That is smoke that, I'm sorry, my thing's not mirrored. That is the smoke that comes off of airplanes. How is that healthy? Like nobody ever talks about it. It's like, oh, well, the carbon monoxide from your car and the chimney and all this and all that. I'm sorry, that's the only things I can think of. How is this shit going into the clouds? How is it good? I mean, look at all that. I mean, that is a real Google. You don't even have to, if you're not a conspiracy person, just Google smoke from airplanes. You'll see hundreds of thousands of pictures. That cannot be healthy.
No, it's not. And if you've ever watched some of the weather people, especially over like on the coastals, California, there's a video that's been going around TikTok, of course, and everybody else, but it's an actual real weatherman who's talking about this cloud or whatever. And he's like, yeah, don't worry about this, blah, blah, blah. That's just chaff. I think that's what they called it, chaff. And what they did was they'd spray this stuff because it was a military operation. And I don't remember if it was silver iodine or if it was the lead dioxide. I don't remember exactly what, or aluminum. Oh, I think it was aluminum that they were spraying. And what it does is it doesn't let the enemy see where our planes are or something like that. It like hides their location. It's harder to pinpoint them. So, I mean, that's a real thing. And that can't be good for them to be spraying that in the air. I mean, wonder if that's what's going on with all the people in California. They're all crazy and whatever else, that all this stuff that, that they spray on the coast because of you know, the military needs. I understand we have to have progress and whatnot, but at what expense to the people does progress really need to, you know, move forward? I mean, it's got to be, you got to do something to make it healthy. This is ridiculous. But yeah, I feel like they're putting just so much crap in the sky and we're all breathing it. And whether or not it's supposed to be there to make you sterile or crazy or whatever, you can't tell me that breathing all of that stuff isn't going to have some type of side effect.
Now, I don't, like I said, I don't believe in the sterile aspect, and that's simply because, I mean, and
Just saying it because
honestly,
other people do. I don't believe
yeah,
it
I
either. No,
mean, like,
but
I mean,
being sick, yes.
sick, yes, like we're making babies left and right. That's not an issue. Being sick now, one of the big things, and now the one thing I will say is the one thing I took very, very, very seriously was COVID. I've had COVID twice. I had long-term COVID. COVID sucks. I was deathly ill. It hit my family. Do you think that COVID could have come from any of these sprays? I mean, your honest opinion, do you think that, we all know, I mean, anybody that didn't
I've
think
never
COVID was
actually
man-made
thought
is a
it. No,
fucking
no,
idiot. But
seriously.
did you ever think it could have came from that?
I've never actually thought about that until you said that. I never thought about could they put the virus in something and spray because it is airborne. Could they have? They could have. Um, I believe that yes, COVID was real. It was a real virus. It did kill people. It was very, very um hard
Terrifying.
on the healthcare system at first. I feel like the virus kind of played telephone, and the more people it went through, the weaker it got, you know, and then of course it mutated and whatnot. And it does affect people differently. Um, that's a whole nother thing, and we could talk about that
I think,
another
and I
time.
just,
But yes, I have
I
never thought about that. If the chemtrails, could they be spreading the flu? Could they be spreading COVID? I don't know. I've never even thought
they're
about
not
that before.
spreading population control because, I mean, we're multiplying like crazy. So if that's what they're trying, it's not working. Whether I
Well,
believe it,
supposedly Elon Musk says that we're on track to not have enough people, which it's funny because you got Bill Gates talking about population control, but you got Elon Musk who's saying, no, we're not having as many kids as we used to. I mean, there's some cultures that still have quite a few kids, but if you look at Americans, what is it, like 1.2 kids or something? I can't remember what it is,
well,
but
but
it's really
but
low.
let's be honest. Like as to Americans, we our generation, we're the next generation. I don't know if we're ZYX. Um, we've had, you and I both have kids, two different spouses. We just keep stressing this. We've had our kids. We don't have more kids.
Hmm.
Protection, whether it's your woman protection, the men's protection. We know it's becoming more common. So I think we've gotten smarter in that sense. But population control, that's the only thing I've never bought in because, I mean, like, and I think what's really beautiful is if you watch the movie. Fuck, it's such a good movie. I forgot. Okay, remember the Planet of the Apes movie, one of the new ones with James Franco? I just been called Planet of the Apes. I don't know. Well, at the end, Caesar goes, he cuts the guy, and the guy's like a pilot, and you see how a virus spread. Everything spreads. You go here, 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 here. Chemtrail. Look at these lines. They're spreading
Hmm.
everywhere. Anything can spread. Once something is airborne, I mean, I hate to say it, and I hate to sound crass. Everybody's like, "Well, the virus is airborne." No, the virus is called "you're fucked," because once it
Yeah.
gets in the air, that's where it goes. Anything airborne. I mean, that's the perfect way to do it. I mean, if I wanted to hit you with some stuff, I'm gonna put it on the back of the plane. I mean, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
drop dust you like Randy Quaid in Independence Day, but
Yeah.
think about it. This, like, I'm going on a plane next week, and my plane is going to take me from where I live, Nebraska. I'll be honest. The first plane's going to take me to, I think we're going to Dallas, and the Dallas plane's going to take me to Florida. Look at all the damage I can do. Well,
Oh,
not me personally. Look at
absolutely.
the damage the plane can do. It is the perfect way to transport stuff without being known.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, if I don't, the fertility thing, and the population control, I honestly, I guess the way they would go about that is if they make people sick and they die sooner. I mean, that would be population control. But is it making people sterile? I mean, I don't know. I guess if you're exposed to certain elements constantly, it could make you sterile. But I don't think that that's its purpose. I think the purpose is that they are trying to modify the weather. We've had
100%.
really crazy weather this last summer. I mean, we had bouts of rain and it was cloudy. I swear, it's like I'd walk outside and my new thing to say now is, oh, they've programmed us to have some sunshine today, because I feel like this is just not normal weather for us. We had so much, it was cloudy all the time. I mean, we did have a couple days of sunshine, but I felt like it was cloudy all the time. I really felt like the sun was in a haze quite a bit. And the crazy hail and the crazy windstorms. Yes, we're in Nebraska. We've had years where, you know, we've had terrible tornadoes that came
We had
through.
tornadoes. We don't have fucking hurricanes. We had hurricane winds
Yeah.
beating us for, I mean, everybody can be like, hey, pussies, we every 3 hours in Florida. We had 40 minutes of hurricane winds, an hour of hail. I have a pool. I love to tan. I had to go to a fucking stand-up tanning bed to work on my tan this year. It was cloudy every day. It's not
Yeah.
normal. It's not normal.
Yeah. It's not, no, our weather it absolutely was not normal. And you know, honestly, with the weather modification that they've started, you know, like I said, well over 100 years ago, I just feel like they've perfected that so much that if they wanted, they could make a hurricane or tsunami or you know, some other like earthquake or whatever they wanted to program. I really feel that they have the capabilities of doing that. You know, they've got this heart program out that, you know, is supposed to be doing something with the atmosphere and the Earth's magnetic field or something like that. And I just I feel that if you're going to raise the temperature, like evidently it's raising the temperature um in that what do they call it? It's something with the atmosphere, and I can't remember the technical name for it, but it raises the temperature when they do that harp like hundreds of degrees, raises it. Okay, so if you are putting something up there in the atmosphere, like near the you know, right outside of the Earth's surface or right at the Earth's surface, and you're raising the temperature hundreds of degrees, you can't tell me that that's not doing something to our weather. It's not doing something where it's going to mess with the climate for days or months on end. You can't tell me that that's not going to mess with stuff.
We're in a really, really fucking weird time. And that's what's so weird is like I said, we go from our area snow weekly. You know, we're looking at now, 30, 40 years later, once every other month. We're looking at tornadoes once a week. We've had some summers where the sirens didn't blow at all. We're in October. Now we just finished September. September, even though we had all these hurricane winds and we had hailstorms on, now when we hit September, this is the driest September in the history of fucking forever, history of the world, I guess,
Yeah.
So uh, that's not normal. Like I kind of believe in global warming. Like I can't discount it, but in the same sense, it's like, okay, well, we just beat the living shit out of you in August to where everybody's insurance went up. I had a new roof the other day.
Yeah.
Everybody, and then all at once September, we're gonna dry you out. Like it, you don't go from boom, 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 son. You don't
Yeah.
go like today. I'll give you a case in point. Now, this is October. What is today? The 4th?
Third.
3rd. October 3rd. Now, because I put this up a week later, October 3rd, it was like 80 degrees. October 4th, it's going to be like probably 80 degrees. October 5th could be the hottest September in the history of the state of
Mhm.
Nebraska, like 97, 98 degrees. And then Sunday, 70 degrees. Now, I
Yeah.
mean, I get that you have the change and the big joke with like where we come from. Oh, well, open the door and the season changes the next day. This is weird. I mean, this is just
Yeah.
too weird.
Yeah. Now, so also with that heart program, that they can disrupt like total disruption in communications, like the large portion like of the entire earth, they can disrupt communications. So it's the ionosphere, that's what it's called. That was that technical name for the, what they're heating up when they're doing these experiments. But back to like, these regular chemtrails and stuff, it just seems like you're seeing them all over. Sweden, you're seeing in the UK, people are posting stuff. And I feel like with TikTok and Facebook and some Instagram and whatnot, that people are really starting to share stuff worldwide, where you can see something that somebody's posted, halfway around the world in, in a matter of a day or a few seconds or whatever, when they post the video. And you're like, oh my gosh, I've seen that same pattern here. That never happened when I was a kid. There was never any of these trails like that. Never. Now you would see some jets lit off the, contrail type stuff or the exhaust or whatever it was, and it would dissipate and be gone, but not to be left and made a cloud all day long. It doesn't happen like that. Never saw that as a kid, never saw it as a teenager. Honestly, I just started seeing or looking up at the sky and really seeing it a few years ago. It's probably been happening a lot longer than that, but when you're busy with your life, you're focused, you're driving to work, you're not looking, and if you're not up super early, you don't see it happening. You don't see when they're starting it. You see the aftermath of the clouds. Oh, it's cloudy again today. So unless you're getting up to see it, you're not going to see the planes. You're not going to see them in action. I watched the planes in action.
I haven't never watched any of them in action, but I mean, it's clear. I mean, you can see, you look up in the sky. I don't care where you are watching this. I don't care if you're in the America. I don't care where in America you are. I don't care if you're from Russia, because I know we have Russian viewers. It's kind of weird. Anyway, the smoke, whatever you want to call it, smoke, chemtrail, fume, I don't care what you call it. It's there. I mean, go look right now. You're gonna
Can
see
you
it.
see that?
It's
Can you see
there.
that?
Yes, it's always there.
That's my picture. And those were the planes doing the horizontal. So um sun was not quite up, and it had these lines, and I'll have Corey post a couple of these pictures. But I watched this over, like I said, like a series of half an hour to 45 minutes. And you could see there were still more planes going more, and they're all coming from this central location. No, it's not Eppley. No, it wasn't an airport. It wasn't at the, it wasn't the Offutt Air Force Base. This was somewhere over way into Iowa, further than Missouri Valley. But it just dissipated into clouds. None of this was there. You can see this sky is clear. I drove in that direction and it just turned into clouds. And I think I've got one that's even more cloudy, but no, excuse me, it's definitely a real thing. They're definitely doing something.
Let me ask you a question, because I always like to mention this wackadoo, so to speak, that I work with that has these weird theories. And he never talks about chemtrails, but he talks about something that I'd like to talk about next. If you're ready for this, everybody.
Okay.
Now I'm going to ask you, this is a teaser before I forget. Are there really lizard people on the earth? Was the queen really a lizard person? And are the lizard people really who control the Illuminati? Don't answer. Don't think of the movie V. But I want to talk about that next week. But I mean, like chemtrails, like I said, I don't think they're poison. We'd all be fucking dead. It's been going on since the 60s.
Oh, it's poison. You
You think
can't spray that stuff. You
now,
can't
come
spray
on.
that stuff in the sky and not have something. It's
I
gonna
think
bother
it's
you. Probably
I
gives
think
people headaches. I don't know.
it's weather control, but okay. How about if I say this? If it's truly poison to kill us, well, they fucking suck, because I mean, like,
Oh
I mean,
no.
we're in our
Whether they're
50s.
trying, yeah, they're not. Are they trying to kill us purposely with it?
No.
I don't think that. What I think is that it's part of a weather modification.
Yes.
And whatever repercussions or whatever happens as a side effect to this crap that they're putting in the sky, yes, it may make people sick. Are they deliberately trying to make people sick? I don't know if they're trying to deliberately make people sick, but they are definitely messing with the weather.
Yeah,
And the
I
more this,
agree 100% with the weather. I don't think they're
yeah,
trying to kill us. If they did, they fucked up. We'd be fucking dead by now. It's been going on. I mean, literally, Google this. It's been going on. Was it the late 50s, early 60s this started?
the weather modification.
The chemtrail, whatever they say
Well,
the chemtrail
yeah, the
started. That was
chemtrails,
like,
I want to, yeah, I don't know. I don't know when the first ones were talked about. I just know that the weather modification's been going on for well over 100 years.
yeah, I mean, that's 100% logical. But yeah, if they're trying to poison us, they're fucking up because we're still here. We're still having babies at a record rate, unless you're
And we're
no,
living longer than people used to live. I mean, yeah, purposely trying to make you sick, I don't know. I know there's people who believe that, but I do believe that whatever they're spraying in the air could have consequences to make people sick.
oh yeah, I mean, like you hear about these people from like years ago. They're like the Pink Panther, he's dead from asbestos. You hear about these people like, oh well, my great grandfather sprayed poison at the plant. He's dead. No shit, he sprayed fucking poison
Yeah.
all day. I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, all that's true. And I mean, let's be honest. Let's say this is poison. This is, I'm not a mathematician. Hundreds of thousands of feet in the air. It's gonna trickle down. It's gonna
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, and if you think we're insane, I mean, watch any of the stuff from Nam. I mean,
Yeah.
you'd see them with the fire or with the flamethrowers, but there wasn't no fire. They were just going like, it was always raining there. I
Hmm.
mean, back when I was in Vietnam, it was raining all the time. Did you know I was in Vietnam? I was in Vietnam. Let me tell you what, I saw a lot of action. A lot of action in Vietnam.
You weren't even born. Well,
Well, now I'm gonna
you
tell
might have
you
been
now.
one.
I was in basic training, and the sergeant called me Gomer Pyle. Oh wait, that's the movie Full Metal Jacket. No, I wasn't in Vietnam, but I saw a lot of action in Platoon with the great Charlie Sheen. But no,
Yeah.
what? I mean, fuck. Think about, okay. Interview if you don't want to believe us. I'll leave you with this. All these hippies. I hate hippies. No offense, hippies. If you're listening, I appreciate the clicks. Oh, well, the smoke out of the back of your car is bad. The smoke from your cigarette's bad. The smoke from your pipe's bad. Look at this. Look at this
Farting
fucking shit
cows.
that comes out of a plane. This is like 100,000 cigars lit. This is
Yeah.
big smoke. That can't be good for you.
No, no. But I also don't buy the whole, it seems like every election season, every decade, we have a new global crisis. It's either going to be acid rain that's going to be like killing everybody, or we're going to have like some ice age again, or, gosh, help me out with a few others. But, and then now we're dealing with, climate change and this and that. So I do believe that we've got definitely some climate stuff going on, and the world's going to cleanse itself every so many thousands, hundreds, hundreds of thousands of years, millions of years, whatever, asteroids hit, floods, whatever. They're going to do what it's going to do. But if we're messing with stuff and throwing stuff in the atmosphere and trying to heat up this ionosphere, I mean, you are asking for things to happen. And I believe that the powers that be that run these programs can definitely make these things happen or make them seem like they're worse so that everybody wants to pour money into something. It's always about money. Like, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, pour some money into it. And that's just my stance on it.
So we both agree that unlike the ghosts, we both agree chemtrails are real. Are we going to both think that reptile people are real? Either one of us might think that,
I
but
gotta look up these reptile
gotta
people.
look up the Queen of England was a reptile. I
Heard
don't
funny,
fucking believe that. Queen of
I've heard
England,
some funny things like that before. I gotta look this up.
the Queen of England had two corgis. I used to have a corgi. Mine was like an inbred bastard corgi, but like that's how I know the Queen of England. This like old lady that according to Ali G had a shaven haven, but she had like corgis. I don't know if she was a lizard. I'm not getting into that. That's the teaser for next week. But do you have anything left to say for this week?
No, I think we're good.
Might I say though, you have really pretty eyes. And so see, I'm gonna put look at my eye. Who's got prettier eyes? Leave a note who has prettier eyes. And Mama Gina, if you're listening, if you're watching, go ahead and accept that Facebook request.
All right. Good night, everybody.